Bloodline Killer is just an intense thrill ride through and through. Was there something about the premise or maybe your role of Michael that drew you to be a part of this film?
Yeah, Jamie, I think like me, I'm a huge horror fan, and I think all the horror fans around the world are craving this, like a new masked killer to take, to step into the shoes of horror franchises of the past, right? And I think that Bloodline Killer, when I first read the script, I thought this film has it all, right? We satisfy the viewers, the horror fans, the blood, the gore, the jump scares, the suspense, but it's got this extra layer of three-dimensional, real, deeply rooted characters and relationships that gives the viewer the opportunity to invest in those characters and care whether they survive, right?
Michael, though, has been tormented for so long. And I feel like this is Scream, but maybe a whole other, like next level of torture and torment for his family. What is going through your mind during those moments where they're telling you this character description that Michael's been tormented so much that he's had this family trauma, and here he is so many years later stepping back into that pain? Did they
Yeah.
tell you how to try to, did they advise you, sort of, did Aunt, the director, sort of advise you how to step back into that pain? Or as an actor, I'm sure you're taught how to go from moment to moment, though, and sort of harness those feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I think I get a thrill and thrive in situations that are challenging. Um, Although it is difficult to imagine yourself in this set of circumstances, it's what I signed up for, and I think I've been doing this long enough to sort of understand that this is part of my job, and I go to a place, and there's always, as an actor, the option to use substitution instead of actually going into what the experience would be like to lose someone very close, a close loved one or relative in your life. But I find, especially in a film like this, I found it was necessary to live that and go through it. And it was difficult and challenging on the day, and obviously the rehearsals and moments up leading up to it. But I think I feel grateful having watched the final cut, and it was released today, so we're going to watch it again tonight. And I feel grateful that I went there. I think the truth and the groundedness of everyone's performance in this film is what really allows it to rise to the top of this genre, right? I think the three dimensionality of it, the truthfulness, the relatability, right? For me, when I watch a horror movie, if I the most scared I get is if I can imagine it happening to me right now. I'm like, oh wow, that could be my house. That could be my life right now. Let's lock the doors real quick. So
Certainly, Shawnee gives everything to her character as well. You can feel her fear through the screen. Talk about working with her.
she is an absolute beast. She is a gem of a scene partner. I was talking about the script and what drew me to it, but the moment I found out Shawnee was going to be doing this film, I was like, I am 100% in. She, watching her bring Amanda to life in the Saw franchise and all of the other nuanced, incredible work she's done in her career, I jumped at the idea of getting to play her son. And James Gaudioso, the one of the two writers, James and Anthony Gaudioso, are the twins who wrote this
Yeah.
script, and James plays Connor, Michael's brother, and also Moira, Shawnee Smith's son. And our family dynamic, James and I spent the summer rehearsing this together in New York City and leading up to the shoot. And the family dynamic is just so beautiful and unique and complicated, and it felt so real, and I owe so much gratitude to both of them for bringing that energy and that amount of dedication to these characters on set.
There is a heightened intensity to every single scene you're in. So your adrenaline is probably at 100 all the time for this shoot. Was there a particular scene that you found more difficult to either emotionally get through or sort of physically with all the stunts that go through it all?
Yeah, I mean, I I tend to do a lot of high intensity work. I don't know why, but that's sort of my track. So I'm rather used to having to get myself to that place, but push ups definitely help, and sort of shadow boxing and just working my heart rate and blood rate up tends to get me into closer to a place to jump into that. There are a couple of scenes. I mean, as you mentioned, most of my scenes, there's a much very heightened sense of urgency and need in them. I think the first scene is a very challenging one. There's something traumatic that happens, and so that was definitely one of the most emotionally challenging. Uh, and then that through line continues throughout the movie for me, for Michael's character. And then, of course, as you alluded to, the stunt scenes and the fight scenes are all, there's a lot of emotional. It's draining emotionally and physically, but I thrive in that environment. So yeah, give me more.
Were there all the stunts done by you, or did you have to take a little bit of a step back because there's a lot of hard work that goes into these fabulous things that put me on edge the entire time.
Yeah, so we had a couple of like long day stunt rehearsals. So they had a full stunt team, but we rehearsed with them and worked through everything with them, and basically went up to like the point of making sure that we didn't get uh, seriously physically hurt to be able to continue to shoot. Right. And funny story was mine was when we were going through it and they would kind of like work me into it. Right. And I've got a strong fight and stunt skills from past shooting throughout my career. And so we're working through it. And then they were like, okay, cool. So you tell us, Drew, this is the point where you get lifted up, and then he's basically going to tip you over and pile drive you down through the table, and you're going to kind of like land like top of the back, lower neck, and like kind of head area right through the table from like, he's the guy who plays Skeleton is very big, and he's going to throw you basically from the ceiling down, pile driving you. And I was like, oh, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, maybe that one. Maybe that's the threshold. So yeah, yeah,
Maybe that's not so much where I'm in the scene.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And listen,
suddenly Michael's got like 6 layers to his. He's got like real big shoulder pads and
yeah,
a neck brace. Like his outfit's much bulkier than
yeah,
and been.
yeah.
I'm,
Oh, what? Wow, you really hit it on the shoulders today, there, Michael. Oh, yeah,
oh
but
my
I
gosh,
did
you definitely would have had an on-screen, I mean, a behind-the-scenes chiropractor appointment. Like
right.
after that hard day of onset stunt work, my goodness.
Well, Jamie, let me say one thing I did want to say. I haven't gotten to do this yet in an interview, and mad props to the stunt guys and the stunt gals. It's just, I mean, it's such an incredible skill set, and they really turned it up for this one. And specifically Adam Shippey, the gentleman who plays the skeleton, he was such an incredible scene partner, right? For fight sequences. He just was always there, always guiding, helping, and really what it is to be generous, right? As a scene partner in a fight is to be generous with how you support, catch, and keep everyone safe. And he's just awesome. So yeah.
But did he let you try on the mask?
I may or may not have tried on the mask a few times. It's just very fun.
We talked about how each scene is so intense. How did you shake off a long day of being on set and being emotionally and physically drained at that point?
Good question. Schitt's Creek is a go-to. Yeah, so I tend to go home, review the day, look at the call sheet, and go over all the sides for the next day. Which obviously I've already worked and prepped, but I just want to go over them to make sure I know exactly what we're looking at. And then I tend to veg for a little while. I tend to watch something like dumb, turn my brain off, and not saying that Schitt's Creek is dumb, but it like allows it's an escape show, right? Um, yeah, and that's sort of it. And then I wake up in the morning, work out. That helps to again like kind of shake off the sleep, shake off the day before, reset, and then start the day again. A lot of coffee.
That's fine. The other day I sent an email. I'm like, I'm gonna go rot my brain with some reality TV. I'll talk to you later.
Oh yes,
So we
oh
all have
yes,
our way to decompress after a long day of anything. So
yeah.
certainly it's perfectly acceptable to do anything. And Schitt's Creek is so beloved. It's got laughter, it's got
Oh,
heart, it's got everything you want it. So no knock on spending that as a way to unwind. It's the perfect way.
oh, did I say Schitt's Creek? I meant Bachelor in Paradise because that's really
Okay.
the second go-to. But no,
I promise to edit that out, Drew.
no, you can leave it. Listen. I got to get some QT with my wife, right? Come on.
That's it's only fair. We touched on it a bit about Bloodline Killer and what it's gonna be, what's gonna make it such a fast fan favorite horror thriller. But what's your opinion? What do you think it is that's making it such a standout watch?
I think it. So I think it's got. I kind of said this a little bit, but I'll flesh it out a little bit more for this answer. Is that I think it has the structure that horror fans love and understand and respect, right? So it's kind of got this loose framework that we all know and love, but then it diverts and goes on tangents from that with these original, authentic, unique spins and then again back to the heart, right? I think that's what really like we often I often don't care what happens to whomever in a horror film, right? I just it's like okay, cool. This is just like okay, watch this. If they die, they die. Oh, they died. Yeah, whatever it is, right? But this, I'm like, no, don't. I don't want these people to perish, right? I want them to survive. I want to, dare I say, I want to see what happens next, right? That's the ultimate goal, the ultimate setup here is that this film is standalone, but hopefully the journey can continue and our fans can be there along the way for however long.
I mean, Shawnee is queen of horror conventions, so maybe she'll be tagging you along in the near future for those Bloodline Killer fests.
For sure. I would be there and be an honored son.
It still blows me away that she's your mom because I feel like you guys like it's impossible. But, in movies we take out the impossible and make it possible.
Yeah. We've aged quite a bit, the boys, because of all the trauma.
Hey, I'm buying it.
Wow, sweet. That worked.
Listen, the blue eyes don't help and convince, like they help to convince pretty much anything at this. I think
Yeah, yeah.
you've got a van to sell me. I'm in.
It's a windowless van, but that's fine.
I've got an apartment on the beach to sell you. I'm sorry, that's more Hollywood. What's next for you, Drew? Have you been busy working on more films, some television by chance?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of things. I Okay, so what do I have? I'm currently shooting a video game, a cinematic groundbreaking video game called Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra, in which I'm playing Captain America, which I am thrilled and honored to be doing. That's from Skydance New Media and Marvel Games. We just dropped the trailer in secret, and then the whole world saw it at the end of March. And we're going to continue shooting, and the bosses say it drops in 2025. I've got about three other films in the pipeline. And so there'll be some are post production, some are moving through distribution. And then I have a film called Ballad of a Hustler that's been running the festival circuit. And so I'm headed out to the Beverly Hills Film Festival at the Chinese Theater for that screening, I think Friday or Saturday. So I'll be there for 36 hours, fly in, hit the red carpet, screening, Q&A, after party, hop on a red eye back. That's the life. And yeah, I continue to audition for Broadway, and I do commercial. We had a take your kid to work day yesterday, so my daughter was home, so she shot a self tape audition for me for Fishing Buddies for a truck commercial. So we did that, and then I taught her how to edit it all. So yeah, I do like everything in the industry. So I have a few films that I produced that are in the pipeline, and then a few films that I acted in. Funny enough, I have like three horror films coming down the pipe. So
Well, see, I didn't even know, and I offered you a spot in these horror festivals. Start spreading
listen,
the word. It's any time now.
listen, yeah, and I've got
It'll be
VHS.
Halloween before we know it.
Listen, sign me up, Jamie. You're going with me, right?
That's right. You need a
Boom.
publicist at this point. I mean, clearly it's me just behind you, just handing out your card. Everyone, I mean, your daughter will obviously have to be part of it as well now that she knows how to handle your social media.
For sure, without a doubt. uh, oh,
Well, you mentioned Broadway. What's a show you'd love to be a part of? There's so many. I could see you in like Hadestown, something
mm,
cool like that.
definitely Hades Town. Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking. I what did I see? Oh, Heart of Rock and Roll looks just awesome. That just came out. The Huey Lewis show. So that looks super fun. I have a few friends in that.
There's
I
a
went
Neil Diamond one.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm definitely like I've got great like country vibes. So I love that world. I love westerns, and I do a lot of like singing, country singing. So, yeah. So all those all that stuff, and waiting for a really unique, interesting, innovative show coming to Broadway that where I can really shine. That's the ultimate goal.
Okay, well, if we can get you an address, we'll put you in suffragettes or suffs, sorry, and then see where we go.
Listen, I
I know
I
you're a
am
chameleon.
in.
I'm sure anything to get you out of the
Oh.
city at this point.
I
We'll go
am
full
in. Listen,
Tootsie, full Miss Doubtfire. We'll see what we can do.
I am I am 100% for that. I will. Is there? Come on. Is there like a reboot of Mrs. Doubtfire the movie? I listen. I will.
We already have a three men and a baby coming, so I think we've passed that one. But I think those are great roles for you. We have some possibilities for you. We'll start pitching you for. Okay, Drew.
For sure. Let's do it. We'll get on that meeting right after this. Okay.
What would you like to say to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible work you do on our screens and our stage?
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for watching, for supporting. I'm a regular dude who plays make believe for a living. And I'm always just grateful that people want to watch things that I do. And let's make something together, huh?